Hi guys, you've probably heard of the upcoming game Palia, which is a really casual MMORPG with building, crafting, fishing, all that good stuff. Sort of like Animal Crossing, Minecraft, Stardew, all those kind of games merged together. We don't actually know that much about the game yet, although we've seen a trailer and the devs have been kind enough to be answering questions over on their Discord. So I thought maybe instead of just reading the answers by myself, why not make a video and just chat about them and maybe some of you will learn something new. So I'm going to start off with by heading over to the Discord. The Paleo Discord is the official Discord with all the staff in there, and they have been doing sort of Q&As, which I believe they intended to do weekly, but they got quite overwhelmed, and now it's been changed to monthly. So as you can see here, they have open questions from June 10th to June 24th, and the answers will be coming in July 8th. But they've already done some questions and answers, so let's have a quick look at those. As we know that Palia is going to be coming out as a pre-alpha soon, but we don't have much information about it. So what they've said here is that it's going to be under NDA, so unfortunately no streams of that experience, which is a bummer, but you know, we've got to adhere to their wishes. And we've asked how many people are going to be let into the alpha, which I think is one of the main questions for everyone. And they've said here, we will invite 1,400 people from the player community. Now, 1,400 people isn't a lot. I mean, for a pre-alpha, it's a fair amount, but considering how quickly the community for this game have grown, it's going to be slim pickings to see if we get in. So fingers crossed for everyone who's applied, and I hope you get in. Um, is there an estimated date of when the pre-alpha keys will be emailed out? They don't have a date to share, which is unfortunate, but you know, we're all impatient. We can't wait. Let's hope that it's soon. Will account progress be reset later, or will progress we make in the pre-alpha stay on the account permanently? Progress from the pre-alpha will not remain past the pre-alpha, which is pretty normal. No one ever really tends to keep progress from alphas or betas because it's unfair to those who weren't able to play it at the time. What is expected of testers during the pre-alpha? Well, it seems here that mostly they just want bug reports, but that is pretty much what alphas are for. It's not just to enjoy the game, right? It's to give feedback and help them optimize the game ready for the rest of the player base. What about monetization? Asked by too many people to ping. They don't seem to be ready to answer this kind of question yet, which is completely fair. We have no idea if this will be a paid game, a monthly subscription, if it will be free to play with paid perks, sort of like a gacha game. We don't know. And then it says here, will there be competitive play? Because initially it looked like the game was not going to include that stuff. So this is quite a long-winded answer. From what I understand, they said that there's going to be possibly casual dueling and such in the game, but no major PvE. But I think that this, sorry, PvP, but this is possible that it could change. There's an option for a little competitive play. So that's interesting because, you know, a lot of MMOs immediately have PvP worlds and such, but this game seems to be a bit more friendly than that. No worries about being ganked when you're out and about. Resource gathering. Will the object disappear after being gathered so that you have to camp the spot to harvest it? That has been an issue I've experienced in many games. It sucks when you see a herb and you run to it and then someone else yoinks out in front of you. But other games have added phasing, you know, where everyone can either see their own copy of each herb, or when the first person loots it, everyone has 30 seconds to go and pick that up. So it says here that it's going to be, because it's a collaborative game, they are looking at a wide variety of solutions to, I suppose, make it friendly for everyone to gather materials together and not have to fight to the death over them. Will we need to eat, drink, or sleep? These activities are not required but have benefits, which is pretty normal in games, you know, buff foods to make you run faster or regenerate health, etc. So that's pretty much it for the first Q&A that the devs gave. But otherwise, we can move on to the unofficial Q&A, which is where the kind Discord user, Vlad1560, has gone through all the dev answers that they have given to various questions on their Discord and compiled it into a document. So I will link this down below so you can have a look yourself. but we can have a quick chat about what's been listed here. So about servers, you don't have to choose a server. It seems there's kind of like a matchmaking puts you on an instance when you're playing, so you could play with your friends. You aren't tied down to a specific server. They can't address the server size. My brain would not register that. I'm so sorry. I can't speak to exactly where you are, but expanding servers across the globe should eventually happen as we expand localization support. Right, so I suppose they start off with English and they might move on to other languages in the future. So character creation, we're trying to avoid male, female. You choose a body type. And this is becoming more and more common in games, which is great because it's lovely to be inclusive. You don't choose a gender or pronoun, just a body type. They start with 2 bodies, and that's I assume they'll have more in the future. Hairstyles are shared between both body options. Faces are unique. One is more masculine, the other is more feminine. I see. So they are working on the customization. It seems. It sounds from what I've read that there's going to be a lot of customization. As I said here, lots of customization options coming. Other races, we're not talking about all of that yet. So I've read this in some places. They've said that humans are the only playable race, but as we can see here, it's possible that there might be other ones in the future. Probably not unique usernames. Probably do username hashtag 4 digits or similar, which is quite interesting. Kind of what Discord does. Surnames or titles are a possibility. That's cool. Hair colors are going to be very customizable, I see. We're investing in lots of body shapes, clothing options, hairstyles, all completely mixed and matchable. That's great because I hate when you are tied down to specific outfits, and I look forward to seeing what colorful clothing they create, judging by what the characters in the trailer were wearing. Color wheel or a set palette, likely to evolve over times. Starting with a palette, fair enough. I mean, as long as if they're going to be offering so much choice and options, then I'm sure we'll see a lot of colors in the future. Gear and equipment, yes, there's cosmetic outfits. Their tools have a quality tier, but you'll only have one at a time. That's interesting. So I suppose kind of like Animal Crossing, right? When you have your basic nets, and then you can upgrade and get a better net, and then you don't really need both at the same time. Although Animal Crossing does have durability on their tools, so I guess we're yet to see if there would be durability on Palia tools. Outfit slots. Why stop at 1 slot for outfits? That's great. Everyone loves having pre set up outfits that you can just choose whichever one you feel like at the moment. Why the name Palia? They don't know. That's the answer. Travel options. Our world is meant to feel large and have lots of things to do, discover, but we don't believe spending an hour to travel between zones is how folks want to spend their time. That's fair enough. I mean, I do enjoy sitting on a wagon with my friends and dragging them slowly across the map and pretending, that we're role-playing as some kind of traveling merchants or something. But at the same time, when I want to get somewhere quickly, I just want to get there. Portals are usually really handy, so I'm interested to see how exactly they're implementing this. There's a pretty open, fast travel system in the alpha right now. But pretty open, they could just mean, clicking on the map and teleporting around. Who knows? It could be a spell. How open is the world? Open but curated. If we go too open, you never squash the bugs. We definitely want environment reversal to be super fun though. We're trying to use geometry where we can, rather than have you running into invisible walls. I have a bad experience with invisible walls. I have rage quit a game before purely because there were invisible walls. So we're aiming to start small. Sorry, we're starting small and aiming to grow bigger. Making sure your group is together and you can visit each other without loading screens and your social experience is smooth. It's one of our primary goals as a team. That's nice because there's nothing worse than games where you're running between zones and then your character stops and lags for a second as they're loading into the next zone. As of right now, all our buildings can be entered. That's quite unusual because a lot of games have, just decor buildings that you can't interact with in any way. but be understanding that NPCs might close the door of their home at certain times of the day for sleeping. Well, that's quite cool. It's nice to know that NPCs will have a bit of a routine. One of my favorite things about Stardew was the fact that characters had jobs and went places, and you could find them if you knew their schedule. Currently, 1 in real life hour is 1 in game day. This may change. That's quite short, surprisingly. I mean, that means it's likely going to be half an hour for daytime, half an hour for nighttime. So I suppose that if NPCs are going to sleep, they could be asleep for, say, 20 minutes every hour, which isn't bad. It doesn't lock you out of a building for too long. Oh, I see that. Followed up by confirmation from a dev. So 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes afternoon, etc. That's pretty good. Will there be sea travel? If I get my way, yes. But the community helps prioritize new features as much as anyone. Fill out surveys when you get them. So that's cool. They're going to be taking community input on what to develop first. And that's a great way for a game to develop, honestly. Give the community what they want. I love filling in surveys, and I love roadmaps of upcoming features. Are there going to be Easter eggs and pop cultures? 100%. That's one of the best parts of games, finding out Easter eggs. Weather. We aren't ready to talk about weather specifically right now. Palia is not a world without weather, I can say that. That'd be interesting. I do like games where gathering and fishing and such is affected by weather. You know, if it rains, then there are certain bugs or fish out that wouldn't be there on sunny days. Portals, nothing so magic as portals. Our fast travel system is kind of similar though. Okay, so if they aren't exactly using portals, I'm interested to see what they will be using. So on to gameplay. We're very keen on cooperative features for all of our skills. Can't say anything specific beyond that. That's interesting. So I wonder how exactly you do co-op with a skill, right? Because in most games, you'd sit there by yourself, you know, grinding a herb or cutting a tree. I mean, if several people had to surround a tree and alternate cutting, that would be quite funny, but also a bit of a pain if you had to wait for someone to help you. But if you gain extra materials while gathering and with other people, then that would encourage cooperation, I suppose. You could have guilds that, or neighborhoods as they're called in this game, of people who are just cutting trees together. That would be fun. Hunting skill. Bow uses a crosshair, and I've said too much. Well, that's interesting. So hunting often isn't really a skill in MMORPGs. It can be in like single player or co-op survival games, but I've never seen hunting in an MMO before. Fishing skill, and it's more than just cast and RNG. Fishing minigames, they can be really annoying or really fun. I've seen quite a variety, you know, from holding your cursor down to moving your mouse back and forth, or, you know, pressing the right key at the right time, kind of like Guitar Hero. There's a lot of different mini games for fishing. I personally am lazy and I prefer just right clicking, waiting for a plop, and then clicking again to harvest a fish. But that's just me being lazy. I'm sure whatever they decide to do will be a lot of fun. Fishing will be more involved in Animal Crossing. We're more like Stardew there. We're aiming for a similar level of depth, but with a gentler difficulty curve. You should be able to succeed at low level fishing, even if you are not good at the mechanic. Okay, so that's fair enough. If it's similar but a little bit easier than Stardew, I'll survive. We plan on having things like time of day affect fish. Yes, can't say anything specific yet though. Perfect. That's one thing that I love. Combat. We're not ready to get into detail on this yet. But you'll be able to choose your level of participation in it. Hunting is the most action-orientated skill in the pre-alpha, but you're right, it's not combat. Okay, so that's interesting. So maybe using a bow and arrow to kill animals is just completely its own thing. I'm interested to see how that would work out. Party size is not a set in stone thing. I realize a team member may have given an explicit number based on their understanding at the time. That kind of info is at best giving a snapshot of the current state of things that absolutely may or may not change. Okay. So as it says here, party size is currently 4, but this is potentially incorrect because it's possible it will change. Character death, no death, or health even. Okay, that's interesting. That makes me feel very reassured that I won't die from fall damage, because that is something I do a lot. I always risk it, you know, just hoping that I don't die, and usually do. So it does make me wonder, if there's no health, how combat will work. I suppose we'll see. Much of the open world activities do not explicitly require a party. Parties can make things easier. but you can still play most of the game just hanging out on voice. It's nice. I do look forward to cooperation, but also playing by myself. We won't have dedicated roles or roles themed around combat, hence trying to avoid the traditional RPG vibes. Okay, so after all that we've heard, I suppose you're not going to be picking something like, oh, I'm a healer or an archer or a tank or whatever. You're just going to be you, and it's going to be more of a skill-based game. I say skills, I mean professions. Magic skill line? Definitely no magic skill to level up like hunting right now. Okay, progression. Even though we're trying to avoid the typical grind of MMOs, you'll have lots of bars to fill up and levels to grind, yes. Everyone loves grinding. Well, not everyone, but you wouldn't play MMOs if you didn't like a bit of grinding. Guilds. Our version of guilds in the game are neighborhoods, and yes, you'll be able to create your own and invite whoever you wish. That's good. I look forward to seeing what a neighborhood is. The term neighborhood kind of gives you the vibe that all your houses will be together, although I have heard or read somewhere that housing is they're each their own instance. So I'm not sure if neighborhoods would instance all your houses together or not, but I suppose we'll find out. We are not planning to succumb to the same fate as Animal Crossing with no endgame progression. That's interesting. Yes, there's jumping. Oh, thank goodness for that. I am the kind of person that sits there jumping whilst waiting for something to happen or waiting for a cutscene to end. I will jump if I possibly can. Achievements. Systems like this will exist. Okay, great. I do love achievements. The only thing that I don't like about achievements is time-specific ones, like specific dates, right? If you log in during an anniversary event, then you get an achievement, and if you miss that, well, it's tough, like you're never going to see it again. Will there be X skill? There will be a skill or 3 for everyone. My wife and I already have a plan to diversify our specializations. That's interesting. I assume by that it doesn't mean like you're capped at 3 skills. It's just saying that a lot of skills will appeal to everyone. I'm the kind of person that wants to learn every skill if I can and max them all out as a bit of a completionist. Most of our skills are designed to allow you to opt into the degree you want. I think it is fair to say that the structure of this game will not attempt to mimic that of a traditional MMO. Yeah, I suppose Palia is already sounding very different by the fact it has no real combat or classes, so I'm fascinated to see what they come up with. Roleplay. I've been making sure to advocate for features like these. It also helps that I roleplayed in WoW for over a decade, and the executive producer is also another roleplayer. I do love roleplaying. I don't do it very much, but I do enjoy silly jobs, you know, like when I used to play WoW, I'd stand on the Zeppelin and pretend that I was like, you know, a Zeppelin pilot or something like that, and say, you know, have a nice day and all that stuff, and usually I'd get told to jump off and die, but that's just the WoW community. We definitely want players to stand out and feel that they can play the person they want to play. We are really excited for things like emotes, titles, etc. I love emotes. I love little dances. I love characters that have a bit of you, you know, with mixed into them, I suppose. You know, you can act out your own personality through silly emotes. PvP. It's possible we introduce PvP in some small ways in the future. Currently, it's not. I'm not sad about that. I'm not a fan of PvP. I would never play a PvP server in any game. It's just the stress of the possibility of being ganked at any moment. It just is the anxiety. It's like, whoop, hello. Not my cup of tea. Okay, on to crafting gathering. You'll never be told to pay money or come back later just to craft something. Okay, that's good. So it's free to craft and it's not time locked. If you have the resources, you craft. I think it was stamina and not time related. Stamina, okay, so I do wonder if how stamina itself works. Would stamina be something that regenerates over time itself and the item is instant to craft? How long will crafting take? No specifics for now. So it says they're keeping a lot of things secret, so the pre-alpha is magical and they don't ruin too many things for those who come in. And whilst I understand that, at the same time, for everyone who doesn't get in the pre-alpha, it's gonna suck not knowing what's going on. You won't be stopped cutting down trees by stamina or similar, no. We had it, hated it, it's gone from the game. Okay, so stamina won't affect cutting down trees. Does that mean it won't affect gathering skills? Is it only related to crafting? I guess we'll have to see. All our gathering skills will have rare stuff. great, because there's nothing more exciting than you know, cutting down a tree and getting a rare log. And that sounds really sarcastic, but I'm not being sarcastic at all. I love it. Uh, there will be cooking. Don't want to get into specifics just yet. Infinite, regrowable, lumberyards, quarries, etc. Yes to all of those actually. Okay, that's interesting. So we'll have lumberyards and quarries. I wonder if they are just like visitable areas or if they could be player owned. Resource management. We have a unique solution to that, but not ready to unveil yet. All kinds of trees. No food rot. Food made by people who are really good at making food will be better than the same food made by a bad cook. Okay, so the higher your cooking skill, the better your food. That sounds about right. Although most games don't tend to do that. A lot of games will do, you know, you level up, thus you can make a new recipe which is better, and no one ever makes the old recipe again. So if the old recipes are just 10 times, you know, improved because your cooking is higher, then that's nice because it means that the older recipes won't be forgotten. Fun achievement not to cut down 5,000 trees. Cut down 5,000 trees in an interesting way. I'm not quite sure what they mean by that. Do they mean that there's going to be unusual ways to cut down trees, like with bombs or something like that? Bees. I'm sorry, we don't comment on bees right now because we're still very mixed on how stingy to make them. I do like games that have bees, you know, honey making. I'm a big fan of bees in Minecraft, like the forestry mod where you can breed bees and such. Not so much of a fan of the actual vanilla Minecraft bees they recently added because they're too big and, you know, uwu cute. They're not very bee-like. Plant diversity. I think we have some interesting diversity of plant choice already. No plans for animal husbandry. I'm not sure if that's technically true. There are long-term plans for lots of things. We'll have to listen to you to figure out where to focus. I can state that animal taming and or husbandry is a common topic for us at the studio. That sounds really good because honestly, MMOs don't include animal husbandry a lot. I know in games like Minecraft or Stardew you can breed your animals, but those aren't MMOs, right? Or MMORPGs rather, should I say. I would like to see that more in those kind of games. Safe to say you'll have to go to a variety of places to catch a variety of fish. And that's pretty normal for games, you know, go and catch some skyfish in the clouds or some hellfish in the lava or whatnot. Mounts and pets. We see these categories as fast travel and pets. Both are in the roadmap in some form. We are only halfway through this Q&A. It's quite long. I say Q&A, answers the devs have given. So land and housing. Earn the right to your housing plot is between you and the villagers in the quest line. Okay, so you won't start off with a house, you'll have to do a quest line. That sounds pretty normal to me. Let's hope it's not too long because I know that getting a house is probably going to be one of the top needs of all the players who jump in there. Your home is intended to be your cozy private space, but you can have visitors so you can still show off your decor. Instance houses. It'll feel a lot like that. Not committing to instance housing plots at the moment. Okay, so maybe what I said earlier wasn't accurate. Currently our housing is instance often private servers. There will be ways for players to show off their plots, but it will not be so free. Okay, so what they're saying is it's not an open world where you can just go from house to house. It is instance, but isn't. I'm not quite sure what they mean. Both outside and inside are instanced, but your friends can easily access your home if you wish for them to come over. There's no loading screen. Well, that's interesting. I do wonder if housing is instance, how they won't have a loading screen. It's really easy for friends and neighbors to visit, and we'll be adding more controls too. Land share. In the alpha, this won't be possible, no. You can visit a friend's plot and help them build their building, though. Open house. We want players to be able to, but we're still exploring different ways of executing on this, since there's a lot to consider to make it a good experience for everyone. That's fair enough, because I mean, if you have an open house where anyone can come in and use it, there's things you're going to want to control, right? Like you don't want someone to be able to randomly move furniture around in your house. Although if they could assign themselves a bedroom and move furniture and that's kind of cool. I suppose we'll see what they do. No purchasing and selling commodities or land isn't a focus of the game. That's fair. Some games with player-owned housing, I know that prices get driven up when people buy and sell land like crazy to profit. You'll have a lot of control over layout of rooms and stuff. Your interior choices are going to be wild. That's really reassuring because I know that a lot of people with Animal Crossing New Horizons were unhappy that the fact all the room layouts were the same, right? And considering in Happy Home Designer, we'd been shown how different layouts we could, different shaped rooms we could use, and we didn't get that at New Horizons was disappointing. You attach rotate rooms to create your own floor plan. That's awesome. So it's like completely customizable. Your plot is fairly private, but you can put your house anywhere on it with all kinds of configurations. That's nice. You can actually place your house somewhere on the plot. Second stories and or basement cellars could happen. Nothing to share on at this time. House with one floor is pretty small. These kind of things are not set in stone, as you acknowledge. I don't personally feel that a one-story home is inherently small though, no. I believe that at least most people should feel like they can build a comfy cottagecore home. Cottagecore, that is like the word that attracts all the Animal Crossing players. They're like, oh, cottagecore village. Not my cup of tea. I prefer having a bit more of a creepy looking town. Cooperative housing is a huge goal for us. Stealing? No. Well, that's nice, I suppose. There is always, anxiety when it comes to actions, like players can bully you or steal from you or just gank you on your own property. So if you're just safe from all that stuff, then that's lovely. There's no terraforming, but the customization options for your plot will get very interesting. I wonder what that means. I mean, it could mean that there are different levels of ground. You could put a little river. Maybe there are like pre-designed lots you can choose from. The house from the trailer is just scratching the surface of what you can do, really. That's pretty exciting. So furniture interaction, forgive us on this one for pre-alpha. I mean, I want to be able to sit down, but that's all I really need, right? I don't need to be able to wash my hands in the sink. Furniture positioning, it may not be 100% free, so you can't place items inside each other, but you can clutter surfaces like tables or shelves with little items so long as they all fit. That's understandable. I know in Habbo Hotel, we used to use rollers and Z shelves to stack things, and you'd have these massive towers of chairs that were hideous, but they'd look so cool. It's a shame we can't do stuff like that, but totally understandable because it doesn't look good, really. It looks good when you're a kid and you think it looks good. Furniture number per room. We will have no hard limit on numbers of items placed in a room. Up to you. That's interesting. I hope that you can't put so many items in a room that it blows up your computer or the potato computer of a visitor. If you want to put a bed in your kitchen, we will definitely not stop you. I do wonder if some games do a thing where if you place specific furniture in one room, it kind of names that room like a kitchen. Like if you had a fridge and a stove in a room, it would automatically be designated as a kitchen, and that could give buffs or something like that. So I'm interested to see how their housing works. So onto the pre-alpha. We'll send emails to everyone who's accepted, and we will announce that we've sent the emails. So at that point, you'll know you were picked. It could be months away. It could be a month away. It could be months away. There's the other two, no way. Okay. Super playable, lots to do, will be under NDA at least for the beginning. Okay, so it's possible that towards the end of the alpha we might be able to see streamers play and get some more insight into what the gameplay is like. We'll be doing a couple of wipes before our actual launch. So as I said, as many folks as we can get in, but we now know from the Discord that it is only 1,400 people. Cash in for alpha. They are not taking money for alpha. I'm assuming that's what that means. Our hope is that those who do get into pre-alpha are super vocal about the things that they like and the things that they don't like. Yeah, that's the purpose of alpha, right? Is to get feedback. So if you end up getting players who don't share anything, they just play the game and then complain it's buggy, then that's like the worst kind of alpha tester you can get. The duration for alpha is not yet known. They are not accelerating stuff like resource gathering in alpha because they want to see the natural curve of players gathering. So they aren't making it easy for us just so we can try end game crafting or whatnot. Final release, it's a little bit too early to be talking about that. They just want feedback for now. We expect to be a live service game and keep working on it. That's good to hear. I can assure you we are much closer than 3 years from launch. Okay, so we know that at least by 2024 we'll have the game, probably before that. So let's hope for 2022 or 2023. The UI, we're targeting on the simpler side, but at the end of the day, MMOs with neat social systems require a bit more UI. Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, with although we'll have like a clear space at the bottom right where there's not going to be 50 spells of different types that you're trying to organize your rotation. There's going to be lots of other types of buttons like emoting and professions. You'll be able to find neighborhoods. That's good if they've got some sort of guild finder. Ports ultra wide. You can hide the UI. You can toggle certain UI elements. Motion sickness. We have folks on the team that are the same way. They keep us on check. They keep us in check on things like camera controls. That's good because one game that I recently played was Sea of Thieves. I wasn't even in the ocean. I was just on the land, and for some reason, I found that the way the camera moved up and down gave me like a headache, and it started to make me feel sick. So it's not great when games do that. We'll help roll out various settings to help you customize the UI, but no mod support, sorry. Okay, so not moddable. Understandable, not all MMORPGs allow mods, although that doesn't stop some people from getting them anyway. Music, it's our own music written by our own composer. Stream it. Are there music instruments in game? They don't really have an answer, but it's possible. It's possible that they could add music to Spotify and YouTube. No specs out yet. They're starting on PC and adding more platforms later on. Mobile is a higher priority. So I suppose quite like Genshin Impact is both PC and mobile. I'm not sure if it's console, but I suppose they're going for something a bit similar to that. Cross progression involves complex legalities between platform holders. That sounds awful. Controller support is planned later, but won't be available for pre-alpha. Who plays with controller supports anyway? VR is already fairly friendly with Unreal. We could look into it. That would be interesting. I don't think I've ever tried an MMORPG in VR. I don't know how many of those offer VR, but it would be fun to try. Although I personally have to play VR in small bursts because it makes my brain go fuzzy. We intend to include disability options, including colorblind options. This is not ready for pre-alpha, but that's good because colorblind options are something that more and more games are adding these days, and if you don't have it in your game, then you aren't cool, honestly. You need the mouse, but it's more required for the UI than playing the game. I see. NPCs romance, I know this is a topic that a lot of people are interested in. We'll have relationships and romance. Things like spouses and children could come later. Imagine having a child with an NPC in an MMO. Because if like 1,000 other people have married that same NPC and also have a child, it's like, wow, that NPC has like 1,000 kids. That's pretty weird. And he's a bit of a cheater, or she is a bit of a cheater. Friends and romantic partners both. I'm sure you'll find someone to relate to in the village, even if it's the mean old mayor's wife. Oh, that's cute. I do love characters that seem grouchy at the start, and then once you get to know them, they're like the biggest teddy bears. Villagers have lives to leave as well, so you'll see them all around the world. I do love that. I love the idea of NPCs traveling and getting on with their lives, and they're not just sitting in a corner staring with like a quest box above their head, you know? Like, kill me now. Romance will only be between players and NPC. Genders don't matter. Currently no player-to-player romance, but they are looking into it. Okay. Romance, multiple NPCs? Yes, but just like real life, some people might be upset if they find out. Okay, so you could technically date all the NPCs, just hope they don't bump into each other whilst you're with one of them. Will Einar robot follow us and help, or just NPC? Einar has his own routine and interests. You'll have to strike up a friendship to learn more. Dialogue with NPCs, there will be choices. There will be incentives for engaging with NPCs deeply. As to what explicitly, I'll leave that a mystery. I kind of hope that you can give NPCs birthday presents. Is that weird? I don't know if they've shared anything about birthdays from characters, but that would be really cool if you could, one day a year go and give them a cake or something, or they had a birthday party. Anti-griefing. We do have a bit of a troll on the team who actively looks for ways to grief us when we are playtesting. That's the perfect dev team, isn't it? When you have an actual troll on the team who just tries to make your life hell. I'm sure new ways will be discovered, but it's something we do care very much about and pay attention to. That's good, because no one likes to be griefed, honestly. Although I'm not exactly sure how you'd be griefed in this game, but I suppose there must be ways. Player trading auction house. I feel like we have a pretty unique approach to how we want to handle the transfer of items between players, but it's in early stages, so we're not quite ready to talk about it. When they say unique, I do wonder what that means. Like, are they going to kind of go grand exchange like RuneScape, where every item has a predetermined price depending on supply and demand, so you can't get ripped off or rip someone off? Game economy will exist. We aren't sharing a lot about this now, but it'll be clear when people get their hands on the alpha. So for me, earning money in video games is one of the most important aspects. I've always loved running little shops or businesses and getting rich. And so I'm definitely interested on this aspect of the game. And I know that I will hopefully be making more videos about this in the future. Lore is something we're very passionate about and we've been investing in since day one. You'll be able to do a lot of interacting with the lore. Your character can really become a part of the NPC stories. Oh, that's kind of cute. It does get a little bit old, honestly, when a character in an MMO greets you as like, oh, hello, hero. It's been so long since I've seen you. I would like someone to use my name in those sometimes, you know. I'm not just hero. I have a name, you know. Your relationship with an NPC will affect what they're willing to share with you, so your perspective of the story may differ. I see. Localization, we haven't exactly decided yet. We're going to localize to as many languages as we can. Pre-alpha is English only. They're using Unreal Engine 4. They don't know if they're going to go to Unreal Engine 5, if I'm reading correctly. No plans of an API as of yet. Bummer. The one thing I love about APIs is that people make like marketplace websites and such, right? And that always makes my life easier with making money. But in a way, it's good not to have one because it means that there's less competition from people who can't be bothered to manually do stuff. It just means that I have to get out the old spreadsheets again. The team has been together for 3 years, starting with 2 people, grew to 7 people, and now at 3 years we're 50 passionate people. That's pretty amazing that they're at 50 people. So that's the whole FAQ. The only other document I have here is that information that has been gathered from articles that websites have published. So we know that fishing, farming, exploring and decorating, bug catching and romancing, cooking and fashion, climbing and gliding, mining, crafting are all things. The studio behind the game raised $16 million in private funding. That's amazing. So I don't think they need money anytime soon. But it will be interesting to see how exactly they monetize the game. Builds a neighborhood, which we know. Perhaps the coolest part of the community-focused title is its innovative social matchmaking system ensures that friends and neighbors can always be close by in the game's neighborhoods. I'm quite curious to what exactly that means, but I suppose we'll find out. What kind of a game is Palia? Massively multiplayer community sim. That's I've never heard that term before. Is it new? Over 1,000 decor items are available for housing already. That's a lot. Even when a player is offline, friends will be able to visit their home. Players can even have friends help decorate. Amazing. Collaborative activities can earn unique rewards such as first place trophies or unique community skins. I wonder exactly what a skin does, if it's for furniture, if it's for your character, if it's visible to everyone or just you. I do love trophies. I was always like a kind of person that tried for Realm Firsts on WoW when the new expansions came out for. I'd always go for professions really quickly and hope that I'd got not a world first, sorry, a server first. No way in the heck I'm getting a world first. I'm too casual for that. The cooperative reward system would then allow each player to receive the item being created once completed. Okay, so if 2 players cook together, they would both get some item. That's pretty cool. Players who don't want to collaborate on a village will be able to create their own settlement. Okay, so neighborhood, village, a little bit confused. Neighborhood is a guild. Does the neighborhood have a village of houses together again? A little bit confused, but we'll find out. You can occasionally have interactions with other players where they help you out in a collaborative way or organically without ever directly chatting or voice chatting. Huh. Does that mean you're going to go hug someone and then not actually say anything to them? We're planning to have proximity voice chat, but only for people you've designated as friends. Okay. In a way, I would like public voice chat. The one thing I love about Red Dead Online is just running around and yelling at strange people and saying things that will freak them out. Dynamic weather system, day-night cycle. This is all stuff we've seen before. Later this summer is the pre-alpha. Third-person perspective. Yeah, a lot of people have asked if you could romance the golem from the trailer, but sadly, no. You can give gifts. That's perfect for me. I love giving gifts. Hopefully no one has hated gifts and you just completely ruin a friendship with someone. Gifting will be an important part of getting to know and wooing any potential paleo life partners. Some might like love poems. Others will want you to hang out and share their hobbies. That's interesting. So you actually have to spend some physical time with an NPC. And by share their hobbies, I wonder if you have to level up a skill that they also like. You know, if they like cooking, then if you cook around them, they'll make them happy. So stuff we've seen before. It's much smaller than Breath of the Wild open world game. The World of Valeria. I see. What we offer on day one is just the beginning. Okay, so we've covered everything. That was a lot of information to digest, but I'm definitely even more excited to play now than I was. Everything that I've looked at today, I will link below in the description. I hope you guys have learned a little bit more about the game, and I'm so glad you could join me. So thanks for popping in, and maybe I'll see you again for another video in the future. Bye for now.